Welcome to episode 4. My name's Blades, and today, did you spot the error in the last episode? Yeah, typo on error. Oh, how cute. So let's just alter that. There we go. There you go. It just proves that I actually do have to review the videos before they go out. Especially onto YouTube. You never know what I might say. I could say anything, couldn't I? There we go, that's all altered now. OpenGL, new file. What we're going to be doing? It's the static shader today. And we're going to be doing the header file, so H, please. May as well put the other file in as well. Here we go. Static shader.cpp. There we are. Lovely. So, static. The word static here refers to GL static draw, which was a term that we did use at some point when we were sending data through, I believe, to OpenGL. And our data for a model is usually GL static draw because it doesn't get changed. Our models are static. They don't morph. They're not dynamic draw. So the other shader to this one would be a dynamic shader. We're not doing that one. Luckily for us. Let's start with the CPP file as usual. And it's just a standard setup. So include, and my keyboard's in the wrong place. Oh, I love it. I love starting it up like this. Let's have a static shader.h, please. Thank you. And a couple of spaces as usual. Save that out. There we are. And here we're on the hash, paragma. Once. There we go. And we're on to the hash includes. Now this is going to surprise you, there's hardly any for once. There's no external includes because they will already be included in Shader Foundation. We are going to pick up from shaderfoundation.h all of the includes as well as the whole Shader Foundation program. I'll show you how to do that. First thing we've got to do is obviously include shaderfoundation.h. Yep. And that's shaderfoundation.h, please. We'll have you. The only other thing that we are going to need, and I know we're going to need it, is an entity. One of the entities is a special one, if I remember rightly. It's not the camera, it's the light. Yeah, so if we go up one, we go to entities, and then into whatever we called it, I guess. We called it, light.h. That's easy enough. Well, we can do that, I think. There you go, light.h. Entities, light.h, that should work. Thank you. That's it. Yeah, how weird is that? All our includes are going to come from that first one, shaderfoundation.h. It's going to have all the includes that we're going to need. So you'll see why in a second. As we're going to the namespacing, namespace, and it's amber. Nothing unusual. Namespace. And it's OpenGL. Yeah, there we go. And now we come to the interesting bit. We're going to have something slightly different. We are going to have a static shader. There we go. But we are also going to put in a colon, which we've never done before. And then I'm going to say I publicly want, which means we can use it, shader foundation, please. Yeah, now what does that do, Blades? Well, I'm glad you asked. That takes two parts of a jigsaw puzzle and puts them together so that they fit correctly. It means that we now have access to everything in Shader Foundation. Shader Foundation now becomes part of Static Shader. All of that code that we did, we don't have to rewrite for every single shader. We can just plug it on the side, as it were. Very handy, very clever, beautiful C++. I do love this programming language. You can do it in other languages, you just do it slightly differently, I guess. Excellent. And I do need to cough a little bit. Oh, that's lovely. Now, we have our superclass, which is what they call it in the trade, because it's two classes rolled into one. And we are going to try and work out what variables we're going to need. And unfortunately, there's a lot, because this is the static shader, and everything that goes into the static shader we have to pass in or do something with here. So on our static shader, remember we have two parts to it now. It's been rolled into one, so we know the locations, we know these, we specified them. But all of these uniforms here and in the fragment shader, we now have to find the location of. Yeah. And because of that, we're going to store them, because I don't want to be doing it twice, put it that way. Locations, locations, locations. Is it int or glint? Don't know, gonna go with int. So m underscore, our first variable is going to be model matrix. I think that's what we called it. Just check. Just to show that I'm not being daft and doing something completely weird. Get rid of the entities in a minute. Static shader, VS, just starting there, U model, the model matrix, view matrix, the projection matrix, they're all map 4s. Okay, so the model matrix, and it's just location. I'm not going to put in location, sorry, no. We'll lock for location, please. Otherwise, these names are just going to go stupid, aren't they? So it's model view, view matrix, location, and the last one of that list was projection matrix, wasn't it? Yeah. These don't have to be as they are in the shader. You can call these what you like. So you could call this PM, like go MM, VM, PM. It doesn't really matter how you do it, just as long as you know what these variables refer to. That's the important part. I put them out in longhand so that I know what the heck they're for. So that's those three. We had a couple of lighting ones, didn't we? If I remember rightly, we had light position. So lock light position location, that variable, and it's the location of the variable that we're after, not not anything else. It's just going to be a value that we store. Next one was light color. We popped that one into the uniform, didn't we? Light, I think that went into the vertex shader, if I am correct. Yes, I think I do from memory. Only other things I can think of are, let's see, there was a shine damper. Yeah, this went into the vertex. You'll find that in the vertex shader as well. Not in the fragment shader, but the vertex shader. Yes, we have to do those as well. So anything that you put into those shaders that are uniforms, you have to record within your static shader class. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to refer to them. And this one was reflectivity. Oh God, what have I done? Reflectivity. Why did I make up a variable name like that? Dunno. Maybe I'm just getting old and silly. Yeah, that'll do. Right, that's it. That's all I want, isn't it? Yeah, I can't think of anything I've missed there. There were not too many on this one, which is good. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I'm not going to say anything more about it. So, public. Let's get this class underway. It's going to be nice. It's going to be static shader. Static shader. It's going to take a standard string. Yep, st. Is it in here? Yes, we have string. Yes, good. We did pick it up from the last one. And we're going to call this shader name. Shader name. Because we might want to call it something. For instance, like a file name. Hint, hint. That'll do there. We do need a destructor, so it's tidal. And then it's static shader again. Shader, there we go. Just close that off. Semicolon. Now, what do we need here? Now, all of those uniforms, as if you can remember back to the shader foundation, we were loading them. We gave load functions for. Why doesn't it like my static shader? I don't know. Why don't you like my static shader? Have I spelt it wrong? Or do we need to include string? How about putting a B there? That might help. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a loader for each part. So we are going to have load model matrix, for instance. Let's have one of those, the model matrix. And we're going to load a mat4. Yes, mat4 still here. You see it's coming through from shader foundation nicely. And that's just going to be a matrix again. So we're duplicating slightly, but we're not. We're easing things out. Just flowing things out, that's all. Load view matrix. This is the part that the user would interact with. Yeah, VIEW matrix. That again is a mat4 matrix. There we go. As it starts coming together, you'll see exactly how it all works. Thank you. It didn't like load view. No, it doesn't like mat4. Okay, carry on. Void projection matrix. So it's load, isn't it? Yep. A load projection matrix. Again, mat4. I'm just going to call it matrix. I don't really care what I call it, but that's what it is, so that's what we'll put. That's how I name my variables. Say what it is. What else do we need? Light, void, load, light. What do we need for light? Oh, it's an entity. That's what we did that include for at the top, isn't it? Entity is under entities, isn't it? So it's actually entities. There we go. Entities : light. There it is. And I'll just take the address. because it's an entity. I don't want to be copying entities all over the place, so I'll just take the address of wherever we've stored it and I'll use information from there. That's a lot quicker than making copies all over the place, so we'll do that. Load shine variables, yeah, shine variables, suppose, variables, yeah, that'll do. So we'll have a float damper and a float reflectivity, yeah, lovely. Quite happy with that actually. Anything else that we needed to load? No, that's covered everything, hasn't it? So we've got the three main ones, we've got the light, and we have the shine and reflectivity. Yeah, that'll do. And yeah, we're going to have a special function. How do we find out where all of these locations are? We have a special function, and we're going to call it get all. Oops, no, just all, and it's going to be uniform locks. Nothing passed into that one, please. Just a straightforward one. Get all uniform locks. Does that make sense? Yes, of course it does. Well, it will when we write it anyway. If you remember back to our shader foundation, we had protected, and under protected we did have something that we have to address. Protected. No, I'm never going to spell this one, am I, today? Protected. Yep, that's better. Yep. Is it going to agree with me? I'm going to click tab anyway. There we go. Yeah, it's agreeing with me. That's good. And we had that strange one that I said, come on, we've got to override it. And it was called bind attributes. And you have to put it in exactly the same way. So it's bind attributes. Attributes. And there was nothing inside it. And this is, I told us to override it, so we're going to override it. Some people would also put override after your static shader because that's a virtual as well. This is a virtual void, but this is a virtual destructor. Good practice maybe to put override there. Not needed. Trust me, it's just not needed because we're not going to be doing anything with it except allowing this to then join in with the shader foundation one. And then when this gets destroyed, the shader foundation automatically gets destroyed. That's why it's virtual and it passes through. It's so that everything gets destroyed together. That was the reason for making that a virtual void in shader, sorry, a virtual function in shader foundation, but this was for a completely different reason. This was done so that we can override it. Yes. So we'll come to that when we do the programming, I guess. And well, what? Programming? We can do programming as well, can we? I don't know. Well, we're up to 18 minutes. Yeah, we can start it. I can't see why not. We got everything that we want? I think so, yeah. Well, let's get it set up anyway. So, here we go. Pop that there for a minute. Save you out. Let's get some namespacing going at least. Yeah, I bet you weren't ready for that, were you? It is a lot easier to do these once you have the foundation. So namespace Amber and namespace OpenGL. It just all falls in naturally together. A few little crafty bits that I put in there like the override, but that's about all. I mean, just the one, honest. What do we have? We have all the variables, and then we start here, and we go down to here. Copy and paste. copy. Oh, wait a minute. Do this alt drag thing, isn't it? Shift alt drag. Do that. Protected gets replaced by a load of squigglies to remind me that it's different. And we can just pull that in, just slightly there. Static shader, copy it, and place it in front of everything, as we want everything to be part of the static shader. There we go. There we go. Nothing complicated going on here. And my cat is staring at me wonderfully well. What do you want, Muppet? It's like one of those Siamese cat type things, stood there like a statue. A bit unnerving actually when you're trying to type and talk to empty space. Bless. I don't know. Things I get to talk about when I'm just doing some mundane kind of thing on screen. I don't know. There we go. This is also a bit different on the setup as well, because we don't just need to set up the static shader inclusions. We also have to do the shader foundation inclusion as well. Yep, we do that. Don't think we need the override a second time, so just get rid of that lot first. Otherwise it's going to bother me. There we go. Now, yeah, let's just do what we would normally do. Pop all these into functions. Here we go. Bring the microphone slightly closer towards me because I've got a feeling that this cat is going to attack me soon. Because I'm ignoring it. So you've seen this a million times, you know what all this is bits about. We're just setting up the functions. Correctly, I hope. Oops, nothing special going on here. Nothing to see, nothing special. Look elsewhere, quick. Have a cup of coffee, that's a good idea. I'll have a cup of coffee whilst I do this, can't I? That's lovely. Yeah, you can do this one-handed. Hey look, Ma, I'm using one hand. There we go. I think that's going to be roughly it. Yep, that void's okay. That's alright. Yep. All our functions nicely there. Except for this one. Because remember, we had to do a colon, so we better do a colon here as well. I usually go on to the next line, I suppose. I don't know. How do we want to do it? Yeah, go on. But you can do this all as one line. You can start here, but I usually go on to the next line. Just tap it in. Otherwise, it's just going to get absolutely stupidly long, because we're going to put shader foundation in here, and that takes a variable, if I remember rightly. It doesn't tell us. Yeah, constant. And great. Thanks. Yeah, it says 1 or 2. Maybe it's on the second one. Yeah, it does. It takes a string file name. So let's give it that. What do we just call it? Shader name. Yeah, that'll do. So shader name. Sorry, I've still got my cup of coffee in my hand. And as we've already written this part, the constructor in shader foundation, guess what we're going to put in here? Yeah, we've already written it. There you go. We did the destructor in shader foundation. So that's that one done. I bet you're loving this kind of programming now, aren't you, hey? Hey? Yeah, it's silly, I know. On this one, we're just going to put in load matrix, which is in shader foundation. We're just passing the values through it, and we have to put m underscore. What we could put in now? Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, what am I putting here? Load model matrix. Yeah. Oh, right, got it now. Yeah, sorry. Brain just went straight out the window. So it's model matrix dot lock, sorry, not dot, but model matrix location, and it's just matrix. So we're just marrying things up now with their locations and sending them on through. On this one, it's just going to be load matrix again. You see, we're using it twice, which is why we need it. So it's load matrix. And this one is view matrix location. And again, matrix. So we're just passing it on through, just marrying it up. Let's load a matrix. I think you can guess what we're going to put in here now, aren't you? It's load matrix again, because that's what it is. And this is open brackets, and it's just projection, wasn't it? So it's M projection matrix location. Thank you. And again, matrix. Nothing special there. Yeah, we seem to be getting through this at a rate of knots, for now anyway. Load light, it's an entity. So we're going to have to split the entity down. We'll need a vec3 light position. That will equal light, and that's going to be dot get position, isn't it? Yeah. It doesn't take anything in there. No, it's a getter. Now you know how we wrote all those getters and setters. We're definitely going to be using the getters. We'll need a vec3 as well for the light color. And that's just lcol, I'm going to call it, because that's original. light dot get color. There we go. Nothing difficult there. And then it's just load vector. Yeah, vector, and it's going to be m underscore light. And we'll do position first, I think. Position, location, comma, lpos. Yeah, looking good. And load vector. And this is going to be m underscore light color. Location, comma, lcol. Yeah, that's looking good. Does that look right? Remember, I'm just pushing tab and hold, hoping it's filling in my variables properly. So I'm just checking that it has done. Yeah, we're alright with that. That's okay. Let's pop on down to the next one. Load shine variables. A couple of floats. I wonder how we're going to do that one then. How's about load float? Open m underscore, what's the first one called? It's shine. Shine damper lock. And that's damper, I've called it, haven't I? Yeah. Next one, reflectivity. Oh, great. Load float. This is why we wrote all of those lovely specifications on how to load things. This one is for location, that one. Yep. And that's there, that one. Yeah. Reflectivity location and reflectivity. There we go. I'll stop messing about now. And now we get down to the meat and two veg. We've been typing in quite happily m, you know, and all these locations and all these variables. We've typed them all in quite happily. Now, where on earth did they come from? Well, I'll do bind attributes first because it's easier. So, bind attributes comes from the bind attribute that we've placed in Shader Foundation. So let's just go back and see how we did it in Shader Foundation. Yeah, I'm going to have to check back. Bind attribute, here we go. GL bind attribute location, program ID, attribute, variable name. All we asked when we, all we're asking for on bind attribute is the attribute itself, which is a number, 0, 1 or 2 in this case. Let's just have a look, make sure I'm right. 0, 1 or 2, and then I'm asking for that name. And we have to have exactly the name. It has to be perfect. Any typos on any of these names and we destroy the whole thing. So it's position, text coordinate, normal. Yeah. Don't mess this up, blades. Just don't mess this up. I'm going to keep that there. Okay. Get rid of you. So I know what I'm doing now. If I get this right, we're in business. So it's bind attribute, sorry, do not plural it, singular. We open the brackets and it wants the GLU int attribute, so 0, so the 0th attribute, and it's open inverted commas and its position. Position has to be spelt exactly the same. If not, it won't work. And that's all we have to do. It's that simple. And we have to do it for each one, obviously. Bind attribute. And then it's, whoops, 1. Open inverted commas. The next one is copy. I'm going to make sure I spell it right. There we go. Texture coord is the is number 1, and bind attribute number 2 is going to be normal. I can spell that one all right, no problem. There we go. That's it. That's all there is to bind attributes. That was that special override that we had. And that's the bit that where we turned left at Barnard Star when we were creating the shader. So we were compiling the shader into object files, and then before linking we run this so that we're binding our attributes into the correct position, and then it gets linked, and that means we have the correct positions and everything ties up nicely. God knows why they did it that way, but they did. Not my way of programming. I don't like that kind of thing where you have to shove something in sideways halfway through doing something. It's a bit of a bad programming idea, I think. Hopefully one day OpenGL will smooth out the kinks and ruffles, but obviously they haven't. That's mighty fine coffee. Now, all of our... Come on then, Muppet, if you're going to move, come on. Come on. Come on, love. Come on. No? Okay. Now, all of these here, I'm just going to copy that lot, because we're going to do them. We have to set every single one of those variables. And to do so, I'm just going to do a Shift-Alt, drag, delete, and then at the end of each of these, I'm just going to take off the semicolon and put equals. And they are all going to be equal to GL get uniform location, funnily enough. So it's GL get uniform. It's not even going to bring it up for me. Uniform location. Yes, there we go. That gives us a couple of brackets. It gives us one of those silly get uniform procedure thingies. It's a pointer function to whatever it is. So it's going to need the program and the char star name. Okay. I don't know all the names. I'll get them as we go along. So that part there is going to be get program ID, which is available to us. We know the program because that's in Shader Foundation. And this part is going to be something in quotes, which I don't know yet. There we go. All I'm going to do, oops, I put that in the wrong place. Silly me. Put the semicolon at the end. And take that equals plus a space. Copy it. Control V. Oh, this one didn't come through properly. Lock. Control V. Control V. That didn't come through properly for some reason. I'm going to check those variables in a second. Control V. Control V. If you think I'm typing this lot out every single time, forget it. Control V. So there was a couple there that didn't seem to pull through properly. No idea why. No idea. I don't know. Beats me. They all look right there. So there's all our variables. We have to get the uniform location of each one. And we have to make sure, as we did here, that every one is exact. So the first one that we did is U model, U view, U projection. We can do the first three dead easy. So it's U underscore capital M model. It's got to be the capital M. Make sure everything is exact. Next one down is U underscore view. The next one down is U underscore projection. Any mistakes at this point are critical mistakes and will result in program complete failure. Yeah. Next one down is U underscore, and it will be light. Yeah. L-I-G-H-T, and it was position, wasn't it? If you're unsure, check back at what you placed in there. Make sure it's exactly the same. I'm unsure. Oh, it's in FS, is it? Oh, VS. Light position. Yeah, we're alright. I'm just going to put up FS now. Next uniform was light colour, shine damper, reflectivity. Okay. It's nice. Can do those. So, U underscore capital L for light. Colour. Which way did I spell colour? Now you know why I need to have a look. Spelt it the American way. Colour the American way. Okay. It's fine. Then it's U underscore shine damper, isn't it? Shine damper. Make sure I do spell that right. I'm double checking these because I know what happens if I get it wrong. I'll never be able to work out what the heck I've done wrong. And the last one is the awkward one. Reflectivity. There we go. Make sure that's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Thank you for that. We can get rid of you. That's it. We're done. Just check through my programming. That wasn't bad. That was 40 minutes. That's good timing, that. So we have everything being loaded through using our loaders. There's no load bool, so we haven't checked that one. Everything should work nicely, which is good. I definitely need to sort this cat out. No, don't nuzzle. He's trying to nuzzle the microphone. That's bless. So I'm going to quickly close down this episode, review it, and come back to you with any errors if there are any. Before the cat decides to play with the microphone, I am going to bid you a farewell. So until the next episode, when we do the terrain shader, take care, and of course, above all, have fun.